So hello everyone, welcome back to our another video for Testler, and here we are going to talk about IELTS speaking. So in previous videos you must have seen that I talked about the introduction of IELTS. IELTS होती क्या है, किस टाइप के questions होते हैं, क्या करना होता है और हम क्यों ये एग्ज़ाम देते हैं. And similarly I talked about the other sections as well. So this is another section that I am going to discuss today, which is speaking, IELTS speaking. As I mentioned in my previous video that IELTS assesses the ability to listen, read, write and speak. So for speaking assessment we take this particular exam, IELTS speaking. So as I mentioned, today we are going to discuss IELTS speaking. So here we have approximately 3 parts, okay? Part 1, part 2, part 3. Now what are these part 3? इतने पार्ट होते कैसे हैं, क्या करना होता है इसमें, स्पीकिंग टेस्ट किस तरीके से होता है, everything we are going to discuss. If you remember in my introduction video, I mentioned that there are 2 types of test. Right, it can be either pen and paper, and also it can be another one is computerized exam. So in case of computerized exam, if I talk, that will be taken definitely through your computer, through your device, and there you are supposed to give your speaking test in video conferencing, in which your examiner must be speaking in front of must be sitting in front of you on computer, and you are supposed to give all the answers through your devices only. Now in video conferencing, what do? They give you some questions, you are supposed to answer them, and everything will be done online. But in case of pen and paper, as I mentioned, the speaking test will be there 3 days before or after your previous the main exam, that is listening, reading and writing. So 3 दिन पहले या 3 दिन बाद जो है आपका स्पीकिंग एग्जाम होगा, उसकी डेट आपको आपके एडमिट कार्ड में या आपके पास जो आपने बुकिंग साइट पे आपने बुक किया है उसके बाद आपको एक ईमेल आ जाएगी जिसमें स्पेसिफिकली गिवन होगा पेन एंड पेपर टेस्ट केस में दैट ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर डेट यू हैव योर स्पीकिंग टेस्ट. नाउ इन पेन एंड पेपर case you will be having a physical interview in which the examiner will be sitting in front of you and he or she will be asking you some questions related to your personal life or maybe some other questions. So everything you're supposed to give, all the answers you're supposed to give live in front of that particular examiner physically. Now these 3 parts are there in IELTS speaking, in which part 1 consists of introduction and general question round. So at the very beginning, introduction will be there of the candidate. That means you are supposed to tell something about you. What's your name? How may people address you? Where do you live? Where are you right now residing? If these are 2 different places. And what have you done in your courses, in your education? Are you working or not working? If you are working, then where are you working? Everything you can explain in your introduction. After that, we have general questions. So these general questions will be some, random questions that maybe examiner will be asking you, or it can be related to your personal life as well. For example, as I mentioned in the introduction, you are supposed to give your introduction directly. But sometimes what happens, the examiner asks directly to you, what is your name? How may I address you? Such kind of questions directly examiner can also ask you. Instead, you speak everything in one go. There are chances that examiner will ask you question by question, one by one. So it totally depends on the examiner, however he or she wants to ask you. Then in general questions round, the questions can be related to your life. The examiner will, would like to know something about you. Maybe about your education, about your work, about your interest, hobbies, maybe some social topics, internet or something, etc. So there can be any random question and everything will be covered in general questions only. So such kind of 5 to 7 questions they are gonna ask. So 5 to 7 such questions will be there, but there is a trick to answer. As I mentioned that, definitely if the person is asking you a random question like, do you drink water? What would you say? Yes, I drink water. But this is not the only answer. Every time whenever you are giving your speaking test, make sure to give why and why not reason to every question. Make sure to answer all the questions in at least 3 to 4 lines or 4 to 5 lines. Make sure you do not just answer in yes or no for any question. One word or one liners are not allowed. After this, we have part 2, which is a cue card. In this, 1 minute will be given to you to prepare about this cue card, about the topic given to you. And you have to speak about that topic for 2 minutes. So 1 minute preparation time will be given, and after a minute, The examiner will let you know when are you supposed to start, and then 2 minutes you will have to speak about that cue card. So basically the cue card motive is to check your fluency, the kind of vocabulary words you use, how fluent are you, and whether you are a good speaker as well or not, how good your English is, whether you are speaking everything in one go or not, how creative you are while speaking, do you have some good ideas to tell about, some good experience to explain about. So everything will be, assessed on that particular cue card. So after 2 minutes you complete, make sure you always have some, conclusion at the last while you are, covering up, while you are ending up your cue card. So after completing your cue card, there will be some follow-up questions. So these follow-up questions will be in part 3, and the follow-up questions will be again 5 to 7, and all will be related to this cue card only. For example, if the cue card given to you is about describe your most memorable birthday, so related to your birthday only there will be 5 to 7 questions, which again you are supposed to give answers in 4 to 5 lines. Exactly the same thing that I mentioned here for general questions. You cannot answer any answer in one line or a word. Always answer all the answers in at least 5 to 7 sentences, or 4 to 5 sentences as you want to. But make sure to give always why and why not reason for every question. There is always reason to every question, right? So for such cue cards, definitely you must be thinking, now how are we supposed to get such cue cards? So everything is easily available on our Instagram page as well, and definitely we'll be doing such more videos. So stay tuned for our such videos and try to find out tips and tricks to follow these sections as well. So bye bye.